Hey there, everyone. Before we start the show, we here at Popcorn for Dinner want to give a big shout out to our good friend and illustrator, Kyle Kedzik, for helping us celebrate making it to 40 episodes with some brand new custom artwork, which is now up on all of our social media accounts. We love it. We hope you love it. And if you're looking for some new custom artwork for your business or project, you can look him up on Facebook at Kyle Kedzik, or even drop him a line at kylekedzik@gmail.com. That's KYLEKEDZUCH@gmail.com. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Popcorn for Dinner. This is Jeff.
And Callie.
Before They Were Famous month, week 3. The movie that we are doing for this week is the 1987 American science fantasy action film, Masters of the Universe. Based on, and this is the most fucking ridiculous thing, based on the Mattel toy line of the same name. So it's like, this wasn't even truly something, like everything about this came from toys. You know, it's just like, here is generic Hero Man or He-Man, and he fights fucking Skeletor, Skeleton Face. There you go. And then the kids just make it up, and then whatever, and they sell toys. Yeah. And then eventually it like became a franchise. Definitely, so yeah. The weirdest thing I think I've ever sort of heard of in this kind of stuff. Like,
there was no pre-existing backstory or anything. No one created that. It was just, here's a toy.
Exactly. Here's a guy with muscles and a sword. He fights a skeleton. Like, you know, it's so like, whatever. Maybe I'm being hard on it, but I will say this, and I have not seen the cartoon, so I have no idea in terms of like quality of that. I know it's like campier. Yeah. And like, you know, like, I'm Skeletor, and he's got, you know, a silly voice and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But like this movie, it looks like something based on nothing. You know what I mean?
It really does.
Like it's just like the worst elements of like sci-fi and fantasy crammed together in service of like nothing. You know, like it's really bad. It's a bad movie. This is a really bad movie.
It is.
And the like the thing that struck me that was like, oh no, I had this like horrible personal realization. So sitting there watching it, and I was like, this is such the like lamest attempt to ape like Star Wars in the longest time, like just like the soldiers, and just like how you could just swap everybody's name to a Star Wars character and nothing would ever sound out of place, or the, you know, the scenario is just like, oh yeah, bring them to me and this and that and all, you know, and it's just like, yeah, it's someone trying to do another Star Wars and being really bad at it. Yeah. And then I realized, I was like, oh man, this movie must be what Star Wars looks like to Kelly. You know what I mean? Because like I was looking at it like, what a bunch of garbage. What a baloney filled sack of garbage. Not like Star Wars. And then thinking about it like, oh no, that's and if you can tell too, then that says something about it as well. Or it's like, you've only seen one of them, and it's like the newer one, so this movie would have no real like influence from it, and you could still tell like, oh yeah, this is just the same crap.
I mean, a little bit. And it isn't really helped much by the like sort of bland and generic teenager roles of like, oh, one's moving away and they have to end their like lovey relationship at the end of high school. And
true. I mean, it's definitely something that that brings up a lot of the issues with this movie, which is something that isn't even overlooked by like people who even kind of like it. Because I know there's like a cult audience for it who's like, oh my god, it's the He-Man movie. Look at fucking Skeletor. But like even they understand that it's like, yeah, this movie was cheap as fuck. and they couldn't actually set anything in any kind of fantastical world, so they just had to come to Earth and hang out with two annoying teenagers. And it's like, oh man, that is a huge bummer. The only not bummer about it, though, is that Julie is played by little baby Courteney Cox.
She's so tiny.
Oh my God, it was wonderful. It was so funny seeing her in that waitress outfit right off the bat, because all I could think of was Friends when she was when she dresses as the like 50s waitress or whatever. Oh man, that was hysterical.
On roller skates.
Yeah, so I was like immediately I was on board with that. And she sort of starts as like our like person into the story, you know what I mean? I always forget exactly the terminology that most people use for that kind of stuff, but like the audience surrogate sort of, where it's like, oh, what is all this zaniness, and you know, she's the human and the weird in all this weirdness.
Yeah, she's the audience analog.
And then by the end of the movie they just sort of sideline her and it becomes Kevin, right? Kevin was her boyfriend's name. It becomes like Kevin becomes the guy and whatever. And it's like, that guy sucked. He sucked since the beginning. Why are we giving all the cool shit to him instead of just letting Courteney Cox do it?
Yeah, seriously.
It's super lame. But it was so cool fucking seeing her in this. And something absolutely hysterical that I did not know until I looked into it later, because the name was not familiar even in the slightest. Saw it in the credits, laughed at it, had no clue who it was. Christina Pickles.
Yes,
you saw that name?
I saw
Christina
that.
Pickles. Do you know who that is?
No.
She plays Judy Geller on Friends, Monica's mom.
Wait,
she is the like the whatever, the princess thing that's like frozen in the castle or whatever.
Oh, the sorceress.
The sorceress. Yeah, that's her.
Ah!
Yeah, right. I mean, they never really meet in the movie. I doubt they even shot at the same time ever. But it's pretty cool that, like, I'm sure on set they were like, "Oh my God, you were in that garbage too?
Yeah,
oh, it's hysterical. I never even saw it. I didn't care." So I thought that was hysterical.
That is really funny.
But Dolph Lundgren as He-Man, Frank Langella as Skeletor. He's just like a really well-respected, great actor, and it's super silly that he's playing Skeletor. And it's even sillier how much he loved the role.
That is really
Reading
silly.
about it, like, apparently his son played with the toys and loved them. And he was like, oh my God, then I'm going to be in this movie and I'm going to be Skeletor and I'm going to make him like a Shakespearean villain and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, look, he could have the greatest time in the world. And I guess it's better that he plays it more straight than like super like Jim Carrey campy or something, you know? But, I don't care what the fuck anybody says. That Skeletor makeup is so bad.
It was
so
awful.
So bad.
Awful.
That it just like I couldn't get any enjoyment out of that performance, because I was just looking at this thing like they thought this looked good. They were like, this is what goes up on the screen. Like, truthfully, that fucking face makeup and shit, that is a like losing and getting kicked off the show makeup job from that Face Off show.
Yes.
That like makeup competition show. Like, that looked like garbage. And if they brought that up, those judges would have torn it to shreds, because it looks like shit.
Yes.
Some of the other creatures.
The way that it moved.
Yeah, the way that it moved, the way that it didn't look like bone, the way that it didn't look like a skull, the way that he had teeth behind
like far
where
back
teeth would be.
like
what? That's not a skull.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like it's clearly like he has something on his teeth, like he has fake teeth. But then the mask protrudes so much from his face
that it's like that's where the teeth should be, on the front where there's nothing, and then he has like another set of teeth behind that. It's the worst fucking makeup job in the world. Awful. So bad. Some of the other ones are better. Like, at least in terms of the makeup, like some of those like mercenary characters, the like Skeletor's mercenaries that he sends after them, they look okay. Yeah. Like that one has that cool effect that it's like, it like neck inflates when it breathes and stuff. And I read about how they had the actor in there had like a little straw where they
and it goes to a balloon.
And it inflates it and stuff. It's like, that's really cool.
They've done that on Face Off.
Yeah. It's like, that's a cool effect. That's a nice makeup job. It looks cool. Even the dumb ones, like whatever the fuck that main one with the hook.
Yeah.
that had the like thing, that dumb fucking piece of garbage.
And the not Chewbacca.
Yeah, evil Chewbacca. Oh my god, that's immediately what I thought of. I was like, oh, it's evil Chewbacca, and it's like, no, it's Beast Man. Okay, he has his own Wikipedia page. Thank you. It's like, yeah, no, that's just evil Chewbacca. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing in the world.
I thought what was the troll guy? Dimwit? Dillweed?
Gwildor? Dillweed. It might as well have been. Gwildor. Okay, like, if we're going there, then we're going there. Because, like, going through this list of people, there's so many dumb fucking idiots. Like He-Man himself.
Yeah.
Truthfully. Like, I don't know what anybody else thinks about it. If it's just like, oh, it's a funny kind of dumb role. Or if anyone thinks it's good.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Dolph Lundgren is bad. Like, I don't blame him for not having a good, like, American accent to speak English in. Because he's Swedish?
Yeah, it sounds...
Yes, he's Swedish. So, heavy accent and stuff. So it's like, okay, I don't blame him for that. It's just the fact that it's a terrible movie. And I'm sure the director was terrible because this whole thing is terrible. Yeah. So it's like, I don't put the blame on him. It's just everything is working against him.
Yeah. He had no chance.
Yeah. And the fact that the character is like barely in the movie. It
Seriously?
Is so absurd. I was expecting him to like be a hero and be there throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And he just basically disappears for long stretches of time and then just shows up when he feels like it.
Mm-hmm. Shows up when it's convenient.
Yeah, really. And then you got the fucking detective.
Was he on coke?
I don't know, but
he was so twitchy and like licking his lips and like rubbing his nose. Like
it was a character choice. He's in Back to the Future. He's the Principal Strickland.
I knew he looked familiar.
Yeah, it's just he's a cop in this one, and he's kind of a lunatic. Then you have just the goddamn worst named character in the history of bad guy names. Evelyn. Mm-hmm. Evil-Lynn. Not even just like Evelyn and you pronounce it wrong, but Evil-Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel terrible for Meg Foster. I mean, I don't feel terrible for her because I know that people are like, she's good in the crappy role she has.
Yeah.
And it's like she probably looks the best out of all the bad guys in terms of like like a decent design.
Mm-hmm.
Like for their like costume and character and stuff. She has those really great eyes that like are her eyes, the like milky white gray blue eyes.
Yeah,
like those are just her eyes. I read all about that.
That's
that
awesome.
like people love to cast her in sci-fi shit because she has like these crazy eyes and they don't have to do anything to them, just they're her eyes. Fucking let's do it. So it's like she's cool and all, but character name, the worst thing in the world.
Absolutely.
Like the laziest piece of shit I've ever fucking heard. Like I don't have any respect for this movie. You know what I mean? Because it's like they're they didn't even try. It's like they didn't even have their imaginations turned on when they did any of this. It's all so like just base level bullshit. Like he looks like Conan. But then there's like portals, like space movies, and all this shit. Fucking, you got little Grildor down here with his fucking like the not Yoda, because they go into his little house and it's like, oh, it's little, and because he's little and you're big and he's little and it's like Yoda, and oh my god, and it's the dumbest fucking shit.
Didn't he have big ears too?
Yeah, he had big giant ears and everything. But truthfully. And I just called him Grildor because that's how I wrote his name down throughout all of my notes because it fucking sounded like everybody said Grildor.
Is it?
And then in the credits, it was GW.
Gwildor?
Yeah, and I'm like, Gwildor? Nobody pronounced it Gwildor. I heard R's the whole movie. This is ridiculous. So I'm going to call him Grildor because Gwildor is dumb.
I just
Not
called
that
him
Grildor's any better.
I just called him the troll.
I straight up hated him.
Yeah, he was pretty awful.
Full on hated.
It was like kind of gross makeup too.
Yeah, it was disgusting. He looked like a monster. Like he looked like what I assume the leprechaun in Leprechaun looks like.
Yeah.
Because I personally haven't even seen the original Leprechaun yet.
Yeah, neither have I.
But the only thing I truthfully knew about Leprechaun was like as a kid seeing the boxes at the video store and being like, oh, it looks weird. And Wayne's World. when he puts the flashlight on his face, and he's like, I'm the leprechaun, and Garth is like, no, don't. That's all I do is just like, oh, he's the leprechaun. But yeah, that's sort of what I assume the leprechaun looks like. And it's like, he's so fucking gross and awful looking, and he sounds terrible, and he's just the worst.
So annoying.
So fucking annoying. And so many moments in my notes I wrote, like, just that I hoped he would die. Like, I would hope that this scene would be the scene where he dies. Like, when they go through the portal and they land on Earth and he's stuck face first in the muck in, like, a pond. I was like, please, God, just let him drown. Please, nobody save him. And then later in the movie, when the fucking bad guys just leave everybody alone, like, they get He-Man, and then it's like, what about all his fucking compatriots over here? And they're just like, bleh, and they just leave. It's like nothing. Yeah. I wrote in my notes, I was like, you're not going to do anything to anybody? Not even Dildor?
Yeah.
Please kill Dildor.
He's a traitor.
He's the worst. Oh, he's terrible. Yeah, I thought his character sucked. I hated the performance. Like, I feel bad because I know that Billy Barty is like a really famous actor. I don't blame him. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, he got a fucking role in a big movie. Yeah. Tons of screen time. Fucking good for him. Yeah. Like, that shit rarely comes around. And if it does, it's something like this where you have to play a gross fucking dwarf thing. Yeah. Like, it's unfortunate, but hey, I'm sure he got a hefty paycheck. Yeah. Or at least a decent paycheck.
Yeah, hopefully.
But yeah, I fucking hated Dildor. And I hated the things that he could randomly do and the things that he would randomly not know how to do. And, you know, it was just like, oh, yeah, so I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to sending us back to Eternia. When he's, like, trying to do it, and they're like, how long is this going to take? And he's like, I don't know. It's like, you don't know you built it, you little asshole. Yeah. How do you not know how long this is going to take? And it's just like, okay, that's ridiculous. But then at other times, he can just retrofit or build his own car in like 10 minutes. Yeah. He just pops up out of nowhere like, oh, while you guys were having a brief conversation, got a car for us. It's all decked out. Yeah, it doesn't run on gas anymore. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, so he can just do that in a split second. Yeah. But he can't figure out the thing he built. Like, and it's like, oh, get it. He's loopy. He's a silly dwarf guy. It's like, he can go fuck himself. He truly can. Do not like him. Also, don't like, I was just taken aback by like the beginning of this movie and them like cramming in as much as we could learn about what is happening. And I tried like writing it down, trying to follow along because I knew nothing about this world. Yeah. Like, I knew the phrase Castle Grayskull. I knew like the like by the power of Grayskull and like that sort of thing. I didn't know what it technically was. I always just assumed it was Skeletor's house. It's not, apparently. It's like, it's some sort of like neutral ruling castle. Yeah. And whoever gets into it and calls dibs gets it. I have no idea. Yeah. Because like they start it and they're like, whoever is in control of Castle Grayskull gets the powers of the master of the blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, so I guess there's going to be some sort of battle. And then after the credits, first scene is Skeletor just like waltzing in and just being like, well, I won. I was like, oh, well, that was easy. Yeah. I guess you can just walk in. And he did. So, okay. Well, I guess that sucks for our heroes wherever they are. Yeah. Like, they haven't shown us them yet. And and it doesn't look like there's any resistance to him waltzing in here. Yeah, and just sitting on the throne. Yeah, so it's like, where the fuck is the other side of this supposed war? Yeah. And they really never show us. Yeah. We see our little crew of like He-Man, Mustache, and not Courteney Cox. For a while, I thought that might be Courteney Cox because I didn't know what role she played in the movie. I just knew she was in it. And when that lady, I forget her character name, it's like Tila, not Leela, Tila. When she first showed up, I was almost like, oh fuck, is she already in the movie? Because I wrote down, I was like, over under how long it takes for Courteney Cox to show up. I was like, I bet it's going to be closer to like 20 minutes. And then she showed up immediately and I was like, oh shit. Oh. And then another shot would happen and I'd be like, wait, no, that's not Courteney Cox. And then another shot would happen from a different angle and I'd be like, but it actually kind of looks a lot like Courteney Cox right now. And then do another shot from another angle and I'm like, no, it's not Courteney Cox. And then when Courteney Cox showed up and I realized how much that other woman didn't really look like Courteney Cox, I was like, oh, I feel really dumb right now. But she did show up about 20 minutes into the movie.
So you got something right.
Yeah, I get points for that. But yeah, we see that girl, we see Mustache Guy, we see He-Man. Eventually, they join up with the fucking dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's sort of it. That's our good guy crew. That is all.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be like the resistance, the like army fighting against fucking Skeletor's forces.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there is nothing.
3 people and a troll.
Yeah, 3 people and an awful forgetful troll. Like, great. But they talk about like there's other forces that they like have control of, and the movie's just too fucking cheap to ever show it to us.
Yep.
There's a hysterical part later in the movie when Skeletor finally like gets all the powers or whatever. And he like projects himself up on the world, whatever, just this big huge projection of him like, I take over. And what was the fucking line? It was like, it's like, people of Eternia. It wrote all 8 of you. Because it showed there was literally 8 people in the like desert staring up at it, and that's it. Yeah. And that's all they ever show of people outside of Skeletor's crew, He-Man's crew, or the like robot guards.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, I don't give a shit what happens to Eternia because it seems like it's a wasteland. There's nothing anywhere. You've never shown us a city, another living human, like just anything.
Some sort of like establishing shot during the credits.
Seriously.
Show us a fake planet, like CGI,
really?
a planet.
Not even CGI. Yeah. I would take the worst special effect possible. Like, just get a globe, spray paint it like orange, and dangle it in front of a sheet with a bunch of holes poked in it with lights, and just be like, it's space, it's a planet. And I would have accepted that because it's better than just nothing. Better than just not trying at all.
Yeah, true.
Absurd. And fucking Skeletor just has already the movie, like, I mean, the movie's like an hour and 45 minutes long, so I'm not necessarily complaining that it's not longer. But it is silly that like Skeletor just has the cosmic key already at the beginning of the movie, and he just waltzes in and is like, I fucking won. And that's basically it. And then Grildor's like, but I have another cosmic key. And I was like, why'd you build so many of these?
Yeah.
You know they're just going to fall into fucking evil hands. But he's an asshole who's like, oh, I'm a neutral person or something like that. Like his people are...
Yeah, his race is explained away as like a very trusting people.
Yeah, and I was like, that isn't good enough.
Yeah.
That is a terrible excuse, Grildor. Like, you suck. Like, the fact that he gets fooled and gives away the thing that gives Skeletor all the power. Like, and he never, ever has to answer for it because it's like, oh, whoopsie doodle.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck you. If you were like a normal man-sized character, the other characters would be furious with you.
Yep.
But because you're tiny, they're like, oh, well, I mean, he does have to live life like that. Looking like he does.
Yeah.
With the gills on his head that spray gunk everywhere. I was like, why does this character have to keep getting more and more repulsive as the movie goes on? I was like, you're not making me like him, movie.
Yeah.
It's not funny that he's disgusting. He's just disgusting.
Yeah.
They have this brilliant plan to use the cosmic key, which is essentially just this dumb thing that lets you go anywhere in the universe. It's really all it needs to be said about it.
Yeah. It creates some sort of portal and you
jump through and you go to the place that you've input the coordinates to. It's just the magical MacGuffin device that every like sci-fi fantasy thing needs to have.
Yeah.
And they use it to basically just jump straight into Castle Grayskull, right in the middle of all of like Skeletor's forces.
Yeah.
And so when like they talk to the fucking sorceress for a second, and she's basically just like, get out of here.
Essentially.
Or something. I don't even remember. But like they show up and then just immediately get overrun by the fucking robot guards. And I just wrote, duh. I was like, what kind of dumbass plan was this in the first place? Like, if you know that he's taking control of the castle and you don't have the, like, manpower to go up against his soldiers, then literally popping anywhere into that castle...
It's a death wish.
Yeah, you're just asking to get fucking slaughtered. So I was like, so our characters are dumb and terrible at what they do.
Yep.
And so they jump in there and they just hit a bunch of buttons at random?
Essentially.
Right, so that it just opens up a portal to somewhere.
Yeah.
So that they can escape. They leap through and it takes them to Earth. And that's essentially the gist of it, is like, they're on Earth. They need the key. Fucking Courteney Cox and her boyfriend found the key. And also Skeletor is sending people to go get the key. So all sorts of shenanigans are coming for these small town kids. And Julie is a recent orphan, which it's like not like laughing at that, like orphans, but just like how out of like nowhere a few things about it come to light. Because like when she first talks about it, it's like it's kind of like the perfect movie subtlety of getting that point across, that that her parents aren't around. Because I just wrote down like it was like, oh, her parents aren't around anymore, so they're dead. Because she didn't even say like they're dead. She just said like that's what they would have wanted or something like that.
Yeah,
something very vague and past tense.
Yeah, in that first scene when she's like leaving work. Yeah,
she says something about that. So I was like, oh, okay, so her parents are dead. Interesting. Okay, so we'll see what that sort of where that kind of goes. And then she wants to go to the grave, or the graves, plural, and Kevin, her boyfriend that she is dumping, and they are like, they know this. Yeah. Which makes their whole thing very strange. Yeah. So like, he has such an attitude about going to the graveyard. Like, it's not even necessarily that he says a whole lot of stuff. It's just, she's like, I'd like to go stop by there. And he's like, okay. And it's like, dude, it's her parents' grave. What are you doing? Yeah, seriously. Why are you being such an asshole about this? Like, is it because she's dumping you because she's like moving away? Yeah. In that case, you're a dick. And why should she come to your sound check? Fuck you. But like, they go there and they're standing over the graves. She just says, I'm the reason they're dead. And then he says, plane crashes just happen sometimes. Yeah. It's like, holy shit. Okay, one, she thinks she killed them? What is this about? Yeah. And also, it was a plane crash? Oh my God. All of that just at once.
But still not enough information to know that it was just them in a plane.
Yes, that was a huge thing that I had no clue about until the very end of the movie. Yeah. While they're at the graveyard, they find the cosmic key that like somehow landed 1,000,000 miles away from everybody else. Yeah, like everyone landed within like a 10-foot radius of each other.
But the key fell out of the grappling hook.
But the key flew 1,000,000 miles away. But the thing is that it's not like the portals are like at our atmosphere and then shoot things out. And then it's like, oh, they might land really far away from each other. And they open like 4 feet off the ground. Yeah. And then it's just like, it's like, everything should be right there. I don't understand how this thing flew so far away into this fucking cemetery, but okay, whatever, movie.
Unless the cemetery was like just
right
on the
over
other
a hedge.
Yeah. And they just started looking in the other direction.
Yeah, they totally forgot about looking in there. But yeah, they realized that they've lost the key. They needed to get back to Eternia to try to obviously overthrow Skeletor, who is now like, he's powerful, but he's not. He technically has the castle, but he has to wait until Moonfall. Right?
Yeah, to get all of the powers of the universe. He's like slowly sucking the powers from the sorceress.
Right, that's what's happening. I was like, what is that sorceress fucking doing there? It's like, right, she has the power.
He's slowly like sapping it. And then when the moon rises, the eye
opens or whatever, and then he gets all the powers to be the master of the universe or whatever. Yeah. I don't understand if he needs that sword or not, but at the end, it really seemed like he needed it.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
it plugs in and there's lights. It seems like an integral part of the whole thing. Yeah. And he never seemed concerned. He never was like, I need that sword. He was just like, just bring me He-Man. And it's like, I guess that's, it's like, I guess it's implied that he would have the sword, but what if he fucking lost it and they were just like, here you are, sir, here's He-Man. And he's like, where's the fucking sword? It's like, you said He-Man. Yeah. Well, you never mentioned the sword, sir.
The troll took the sword.
Yeah, he took off. You said those guys could go. You didn't give a shit, remember? So dumb. I can't believe he just lets them leave. So they're looking for the key. The dumb teenagers think it's a synthesizer from Japan.
Because it makes like tones when you hit the buttons.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I would definitely notice something like if I had that thing, it was like, what the fuck is this? And I hit all the buttons and it like made notes. I would try to play songs on it,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would assume it's an instrument just due to the fact that it's a fucking ridiculous looking contraption with like forks spinning on it and everything. It's just like, do you think a phone is an instrument too?
Yeah.
Like a touch tone phone. It's like boop beep boop bop. Like, oh, it's a synthesizer. That's not how that fucking works. You dolt. You're the worst. And so he takes it to the music shop to have that guy look at it, and that guy also apparently thinks it's a synthesizer until he makes it do something else. I don't even understand what it was doing. They hit the button and like a thing pops up and it plays a little tone.
That's like the start of a portal or something.
Right. I guess I just wondered why it never did anything else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because apparently it plays the tone. Like it played the tone. Is it like a Simon where like it plays the tone and then you have to play the tone to match it and then it'll take you to the portal?
Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, they never explain how it works ever, even in the slightest, other than like, oh, you have to put in the calculations. It's just like, oh God, I don't ever want to listen to this thing talk again.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, so I guess that's how that thing works. But whatever. I guess they're just lucky that it's not fucking dangerous as shit because they both just push buttons on it. They're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, it is so foreign looking. How could you ever feel comfortable like touching any of those buttons?
Yeah.
Especially if it's on. Like, it's like shining and like... It's like, ooh, I'll touch some of these. Yeah. God, you guys want to die.
Seriously.
So terrible.
Ugh.
And so they don't use the other key. They use their own fucking ridiculous ass technology, Skeletor and his crew, to find out where they went. And then he sends some mercenaries after them. And I was like, that is literally a scene from Empire Strikes Back when Vader is fucking sending off all the bounty hunters to go try to track down the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
It's just that those fucking characters looked cool, like Boba Fett and Bosk and IG-88. And then this one had fucking...
Beastman.
Yeah, evil Chewbacca and Baldy Swords guy. And that other gross looking thing. Like, I hated...
Lizard person.
Yeah, I thought those fucking mercenaries were hokey as fuck. Like, the costumes were dumb. The voices were dumb. That guy... Like, the fact that there's, like, 3 monsters and then just this bald guy with, like, a metal chin beard on and stuff.
And a, like, bionic eye thing.
Yeah, it was just like, what the fuck is this? And then I read about it and I was like, this is a sign of a movie that nobody gave a shit about anything on. And this might be unfair to like the guy who played that part, because it's like, hey, he played the part and he was whatever, he did his job.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that like they had some sort of makeup job for him and he was like, I don't want to do that, but I'll shave my head. And they just went, okay. And it's like, so that's why you have 3 professional looking, although dumb looking, but still professional looking makeup characters, and then just this bald guy. It's like the dumbest. Like, I thought they were all stupid.
Yes, agreed.
But his sort of especially. And then learning that, it was like, oh, it was supposed to be another monster.
Yeah.
But instead it was just some guy. Like some dude with some swords, I guess. Whatever. And he sends them to Earth to go find the fucking key because he needs the key, or he wants the key, or he doesn't want He-Man to have the key.
Yeah.
I don't know or care.
Something like that.
It's unfortunate how little there is to care about in this movie. Okay, so you both are fighting over this fucking throne. Neither of you seem very good at it. I don't care who wins.
Yeah.
Just leave Earth.
Yeah.
Like, that's really all I want by the end of the movie. It's just like, just get out of here. Take your stupid, dumbass war back to your abandoned ass planet and fucking kill each other for all I care.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Unless having the like powers of the universe or whatever means that like Skeletor is going to go on like a killing rampage across all the galaxies.
Yeah.
But they never say anything along those lines or even close to anything.
We never know what Skeletor's like plans for the universe are. It's like, for all we know, they just don't like his policy.
Yeah.
You know what
I mean, he did seem a little bit like a dictator. But
I mean, yes, obviously, I'm not actually honestly saying like there's no difference between He-Man and Skeletor. Both sides are bad, it's just in the end, it's like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Eternia. Like, none of the characters that are involved with Eternia matter to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
for any reason.
I was gonna say none of the ones that are on Earth truly matter for me either, other than the fact that it's like, hey, it's Courteney Cox.
Yeah.
But it's like, really, it's just like, take your key, go home, go have your war. I don't give a fuck.
Just leave us alone.
Yeah. And I think that's sort of the big, like, I mean, obviously it's a huge issue, but like the big issue with like making this movie a like fish out of water going to earth tale, where it's like, if you keep it all in your fantasy world, then hopefully if you if you write things well and direct it well and get people to care about the characters, then maybe somebody would give a shit about Eternia.
Yeah,
because you'd have been there for a while and there'd be characters you care about, or at least like a world that seems like it might be a shame to lose. But you look at Eternia, all of the shots of it, and it's literally like, this is a garbage dump.
Yeah.
They should blow this planet up and make it parking.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing here.
It's a desert with a castle.
Yeah, that's all it is. So it's like, I don't, it doesn't matter to me. Yeah, it matters not even a little bit. And he sends these fucking mercenaries after them who track down the, God, they track down the key with all their magic, like, equipment and shit. And it takes them to the school where Kevin has brought Julie for the sound check for his band's show that night. And she's waiting there alone because Kevin took the key to go to the music shop to go have that guy check it out for him. The monsters show up to the school. They blow the fuck out of the place.
Yeah, they do.
In the meantime, and they seriously injure the janitor, I guess.
Yeah.
Is who that guy was. Felt terrible for him.
Yeah.
He just sort of like waltzes out of a back room, and
He's
it's like, oh, monsters. And they just immediately start beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
That's the funniest part of it, too, is that it's like, they don't like maul him, nor do they just like blast him and kill him. It's like they just sort of like jump him, like start punching him in the kidneys or something. Like, it's the silliest thing where it's like, it's like you weren't necessarily, it's like, I guess technically you were attacked, but more specifically, more accurately, is that they beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
It's a little different. But I thought that was hysterical. And so she escapes, and so it becomes this big old chase, and like people like not being in the same place at the same time, or it's like, oh, he's at her house with the detective who is the worst cop in the world.
Seriously,
I thought
so
it was
bad.
It was so fucking funny that he just lets Kevin get in the. He's like, oh yeah, you're looking for your girlfriend, huh? Yeah, well, we're gonna go looking for her then. And he doesn't check the beeping, whirring electronic device that Kevin is holding. He just lets it bring it into the car. Like, it's no big deal. And it isn't until they get to her house and get out of the car that he's like, hey, what is that thing anyway? And it's like, oh, how fucking long were you going to let him just hold this ridiculous thing that, for all you know, could be what set these fires you're so adamant about? And
or
you're
like
just like,
a bomb.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking first off, where it's just like, no cop would just let someone get in their car. Like, can I bring this? Bloop, 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 bloop. Like, it's just my personal strange electronic device. I just need to bring it in your car real quick.
Yeah.
He's like the absolute worst cop in the world. And the monsters show up there and blow the house up or some shit. I don't even remember. There's just like tons of them attacking and not doing much.
They were just searching for the thing again, but the cop took it and went to go question the guy at the music store about it.
Oh God, that's right. They go all the way back.
Yeah.
So,
but
Kevin's
so the music still at the
store,
house, and they put that collar on him.
Right, to make him tell the truth.
Yeah.
Which is like, of course.
Yeah, right.
Of course, they just did a device that just does that.
And then they just leave it on him. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, they leave it on him and just leave him there. And it's just like, I don't understand why none of these bad guys think it's a good idea to take prisoners.
Yeah.
Like, that would, like, if they had taken him as a prisoner, they probably then could have gotten Julie. And then, with both of them, gotten He-Man.
Yeah.
Because he would have been like, no, do not hurt them. I will say, because he basically does that at the end of like, do not hurt anyone else. I will take me.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Now that we have you, let's also take your friends. Like, you know, it's like, what's the, what? Because of our word?
Yeah.
We're evil. What's the fucking difference? But like, So that's before the music store gets destroyed.
Right. Because then all the rest of the good guys show up, get Kevin, find out that the cop took the key to the music store.
Mm-hmm.
So then they all go to the music store, and then the bad guys show up, and then there's the shootout in the music store.
Yeah, there's a huge, big fucking shootout at the music store, and I wrote down that a lot of really beautiful instruments died for this nonsense.
I specifically wrote so many beautiful instruments destroyed.
Yeah, such a bummer. Like, all for this dumbass fucking
It really was.
Eternian bullshit.
Awful.
Yeah, it's awful as hell. And
But apparently there were no fire alarms.
yeah, sorry, I was looking into my notes, and around that sequence, because it's after they go through the house and they find the newspaper clipping of Julie's parents' death. So silly, and it's just so the bad guys get a handle on it so they could use it against her later.
Yeah.
And she falls for it like an idiot.
Yep.
And but it's just shortly after that is the first true reaction to the appearance of Dildor, when he shows up and meets Kevin, and he just says, "What the hell is that?" I was like, "Oh my god!" Thankfully, somebody sees it. Like, I get that all the Eternians like are used to it, so they're not grossed out by it. But so, these humans, someone's got to react to this.
Yeah.
And then the detective does as well. He says the exact same thing. He's like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
It's like, yes, that's how humans should react to Dildor. He is horrible. But it was just so fucking funny that they are in the back room of the music shop while He-Man and fucking, I guess his name is Man-at-Arms.
Okay.
I had no clue what the fucking mustache guy's name was throughout the whole movie.
It was what's her face's.
Yeah, it was her dad. It was Tila's dad.
Yeah.
But his character name is just Man-at-Arms.
I thought they called him like Duncan or something. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Character name is Man-at-Arms.
Right.
And that explains why she at one point just looks straight down the barrel of the camera and says, "Woman at arms," after she shoots something. Because that happened, and I was like, what the fuck was that? Was I supposed to get that joke?
Yeah.
Because I don't.
Yeah.
Like, what did, like, I mean, I get, like, see, woman at arms, because, like, I've heard the phrase man at arms before, but I didn't know it was any character's name.
Yeah.
And I had no clue why she was referencing it, or, like, what, like, who is she showing up right now? What is going on? It wasn't until the credits I was like, oh my God, his name was Man at Arms? Does he not have a real name? This is the dumbest.
Yes.
But yeah, that explains that at least. But they're in the back of the store, Dildor and fucking Julie and Kevin and the detective. And Dildor is like trying to use the key to fucking take him somewhere and whatever. And it's taking him forever because, again, he's like forgetful and dumb and like doesn't know how long it's going to take him to do shit.
Yeah.
Again, even though he's the one who built it. And he's trying to do it and it's taking him a while. And Kevin just decides that he needs to know what Dildor's doing, as if he could help somehow.
Yeah.
Like, he just interrupts the thing that is going to save their lives. You know what I mean? It's like, it'd be like me going up and like getting over the shoulder and talking to the mechanic who's going to fix the car that's going to save everyone's lives. Where it's like, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
But I'm going to come up and start annoying you.
Yeah. I want to know every little detail about what you're doing.
Yeah. And it's like, what is it going to matter to you? It's not like you're ever going to use this thing. God, it's like, and it, obviously later he like helps them because he remembers the tune that it plays. That's interesting. Like, you can help me. And it's like, because this thing makes song tone coordinate things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even understand truly what the device does. I mean, other than just be whatever they need it to be.
Yeah. Apparently all of the coordinates in the universe have some sort of galactic tone or something.
Yeah. And you type it with the tones and it whatever.
Yeah.
Which is just so silly because it's like, how could it make songs? You know what I mean? Like, and not just songs, but it's just like, if it has a whole bunch of tones, like, are all of these tones in one key and you can never hit two that like are sour and don't sound good together. You know what I mean? Because it's like you have to coordinate something. Because even when he's like trying to figure out a coordinate, he's like, no, we need to be a little further. Oh no, a little bit further back. And it's like, it seems like he's dialing it in ever so gently on like a very specific area.
Yeah.
And it's like, how could every single coordinates in the universe make a like logical song, like a melody?
Yeah.
How does it not just sound like like, there we go. Now we're going where we need to be. Like that sounded disgusting. Like
that's the South Pole of Pluto right there.
Yeah, right? Like thankfully Earth's coordinates is a beautiful melody that Kevin can remember for later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's never just like a honk 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 hank hank honk. Like, there we go. That was a terrible song though. It's like, yeah, but what does it matter? It's taking us where we need to go. And then that's the scene where Evelyn decides to trick Julie into giving her the key by pretending to be her mom, who then beckons her outside and tells her, like, we had to fake our deaths because we're working on something super magic and crazy and weird. And in fact, it has something to do with all these monsters you're seeing. So if you could just go inside and grab us that thing, you know, the thing. Like, she doesn't even call it by a name or anything. She's like, bring us that thing, you know. Like, just bring us that thing.
The metal thing with all the buttons.
Yeah, it's like, just bring us that thing because it's super important to us. And it's like, okay. Like, she just doesn't question that in the slightest.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, I get it. You're grieving, and you even believe that you're the reason that they crashed their plane.
Yeah.
Grief is crazy, so it's not even like, you dumb bitch. But it is just like such a lazy like character thing of like, oh, she's in distress. So she makes the terrible decision to steal the key from Dildor. Like, he is in the middle of doing something with it.
Yeah.
And she's just like, by the way, yoink, and just takes it and runs out the door.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, fuck, what the fuck? And then she runs out, she gives it to her, she immediately turns back into Evelyn.
Yeah.
And then she starts shrieking like, no, oh my God.
Yeah, her like horror movie scream.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as it happened, I was like, Gale Weathers.
Yep.
I was like, oh my God, it sounds like Scream right now.
Unfortunately, it looks like Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, but I think the funniest thing about that whole thing, because I just wrote, Julie, you dope, when that happened, because it was like, it's so obvious what's going to go on. But I loved that Julie's line after that, because they all like come out the back door because they're like, oh, something's happening. Where's the key? Julie's got to go.
Yeah.
They all come out the back door and she says, that woman took the key. And I was like, that's one way to put it.
Yeah.
Or I handed that key over to her, no question. That's I get it.
Yeah.
You don't want to incur the wrath of He-Man or whatever, but that is a generous way to describe what happened, Julie. So they got no keys.
Yeah.
How does the rest of the movie happen? I don't even remember anymore.
And then
and
Evelyn,
Skeletor shows up.
Yeah, Evelyn signals for Skeletor.
Yeah, and he shows up on the
parade float.
I wrote that too. I was like, that looks exactly like a parade float. All right. Oh, and his space boogie board crew shows up.
Yes.
Those dudes on those things. That is the dumbest looking thing in the world. And it's a perfect example of like trying to do Star Warsian things without realizing that it's like, yeah, Star Wars did the stuff it did because that looks cool, and you using this version of it looks dumb and cheap and awful.
Yeah.
Because I was like, the special effects of them riding it are kind of crappy, but that's sort of to be expected in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, special effects weren't that advanced to the point where you could have someone look like they're actually driving a space thing that flies around or whatever.
Yeah.
But Star Wars in like Return of the Jedi, they had like speeder bikes that they sit on like motorcycles. So it looks normal to us.
Yeah.
To the viewing audience. It's just that it floats and it, you know, the rest of it looks, you know, futury and spacey. But they sit and there's handlebars and like throttles. So it looks, oh yeah, I get that. And it doesn't look so dumb. But then these dudes just like standing on boogie boards like, like, how are they flying this?
Not even boogie boards. They were like glorified trash can lids.
Pretty much. But like, it's like, what is driving this thing? How are they directing it? You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like it's a Segway. They're not like leaning or like, you know what I mean?
Maybe, I don't know.
it's just like, that's what makes it look so fucking stupid, at least
awful.
to me.
Yeah.
Is that it's like, yeah, it's all ridiculous, fantasy sci-fi nonsense where it's like things can't float like that and lightsabers don't exist or whatever. But like, there's things that look decent and there's things that look dumb, and they chose the thing that
even
looks
the design of, I know this was like many years later, but Green Goblin's hoverboard thing, like even that, like it seemed more logical the way that he like stood on it and the shape and design
it's the
of
way
it.
that he rides it that makes it look better, because he is like, knees are crouched, and it seems like he has some sort of like momentum or whatever to
and
it.
some like maneuverability to it.
Like he can like, shift to change the direction he's going, but all these dumbasses are just standing straight up on a thing
on just
a disc, and it's like, how are these things even working? Like, I don't even care about the floating part. Like, how do you pilot it?
Yeah,
it was just like, it just goes. Who cares?
It's with your toes. You move your left toes.
You make fists with your feet.
Exactly.
Fists with your toes. And also hysterical, I love the fact that Earth is just abandoned when Skeletor shows up.
Yeah.
There's just nobody anywhere.
Yeah. No police. No civilians. No civilians to call in these troops that are storming down the street.
Yeah, like, is it 2 a.m. in a deaf-only neighborhood or something? Like, how is any of this just flying under the radar right now?
Deaf and or blind. Because
there were a lot of flashing lights and shit,
and
explosions and whatnot.
Like,
people would understand that something was happening outside, but they don't.
No.
And then something ridiculous happens. I mean, now something ridiculous happens. Everything up until now has been peaches, but this is where it loses me. It was just really silly to me that, like, I don't even remember what the like threat was or something, but Julie gets like lightninged in the calf. It was like purple lightning that struck her from Skeletor, right?
Right, yeah. He was aiming at He-Man and she jumped in front of him for whatever reason.
I'll protect you, giant hero man.
Yeah.
Like, what? He's the one who's supposed to be protecting you. Like, it's the dumbest thing to do.
Yeah.
But it was just the fact that it's just like, bleh, and it just sort of shocks her in the leg and she like drops to the ground. I just wrote down, oh no, Julie's calf.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it was just like, and she like reaches down and like rubs at it a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, that was Skeletor's move? That's what he was gonna do to He-Man? It's just like, meow. And he'd be like, my tits. Like, what the fuck's wrong? What the hell was that all about? Like, that was the weakest little attack. And then a little while later, they pull her like the like whatever was covering her leg, they like pull it away, and it's like horrifying.
Yeah.
And like pussy and like gross and like it's like infected and shit. And I wrote, oh my God, Julie's calf. Like, this really is an issue.
Yeah.
And they were like, the poison is spreading already. And I was like, that was poison lightning.
Yeah.
What? What?
I don't.
What? It is poison lightning. Like, fuck Eternia and all of its bullshit.